York mayor made big promises, and now the opportunity presents itself. Netanyahu invited to New York City, that too on Zohran's oath-taking day. Can Mamdani arrest Netanyahu?
Hello and welcome to another episode of Xplained, brought to you by NewsX. You're watching me, Vineet Malhotra. Today we are going to talk about the unfolding, of Zohran Mamdani, newly elected mayor of New York City and a democratic socialist and long-time pro-Palestinian activist, and his promise to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if the Israeli Prime Minister ever visits New York City. Well, the promise is drawing intense attention because it brings together local politics, international law, and foreign policy. In his campaign, he pledged to honor the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant against Netanyahu. He has stated in an interview that if elected as mayor, he wants to show New York as a city that believes in international law. The promise has been made by Mamdani not once but many times before on different platforms. He also pointed to Netanyahu's actions in Gaza, saying someone who has perpetrated genocide of Palestinians should not be celebrated, directly referencing Netanyahu's alleged actions in Gaza. He reinforced his stance during an interview, emphasizing his commitment to human rights and international law principles. Benjamin Netanyahu is planning to visit New York City on the 1st of January, the very first day of Mamdani's mayoral term. The visit was arranged by Republican City Council member Inna Vernikov, who described it as a celebration of New York's support for Israel and the Jewish community. Inna Vernikov has also made a statement regarding this via her social media platform X. As you can see on your screen, she has tweeted on the promise made by Mamdani and Netanyahu's plans to arrive in New York City. She has stated that one of Zohran Mamdani's campaign promises was to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, the duly elected Prime Minister of Israel, upon his impending arrival to New York City. She states that as of the 1st January, Mamdani will take office, and also on the 1st of January, she looks forward to welcoming Benjamin Netanyahu, or as she has called him, Bibi, in this tweet, to New York City. She states that she will always stand with New York City and will always remain to stand with Israel. She also goes on to call Zohran Mamdani a radical Marxist and says that no radical Marxist with a title can change that. Benjamin Netanyahu has previously dismissed Zohran Mamdani's threats, like previously sometime in July at a White House meeting he stated he was not concerned about any of the statements made by him. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump added to that, jokingly stating, and I quote, "I'll get him out." This illustrates political theatre and the limitation of Mamdani's authority when it comes to international diplomacy. Zohran Mamdani had made a statement about this promise before he won the mayoral elections. He vowed to arrest Israel's Prime Minister in this interview, and he states that as a city, New York City is the one whose values are in line with international law, and it's time that their actions are also. Let's listen into what he had said.
New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a city that our values are in line with international law. It's time that our actions are also. It's time that we actually step up and make clear what we are willing to do to showcase the leadership that is sorely missing in the federal government.
Well, at many other interviews he has recently given, he has made his stance on this exceedingly clear. He stated that even if Netanyahu came to deliver a speech at the United Nations General Assembly while he is mayor, he will move to honor the ICC arrest warrant issued in The Hague against him, just as he would Putin. The International Criminal Court issued a warrant against Netanyahu in November 2024. The ICC accused him of war crimes and crimes against humanity, including starvation as a method of warfare and intentionally directing attacks against civilians. Mamdani's stance is rooted in a belief that local leadership can and should uphold international law norms. Even symbolically, he has repeatedly stated that he sees it as his responsibility to respect international justice and hold leaders accountable for alleged crimes against humanity. While Mamdani's promise is politically significant and loaded, it faces several practical limitations. Firstly, the United States has not ratified the Rome Statute, which governs the ICC. The Rome Statute is the treaty that was created by the ICC. Countries that sign and ratify it and agree to cooperate with the court, including arresting and handing over people the ICC wants for trial. The United States had previously signed the Rome Statute in 2000 but later unsigned it and never ratified it. This means that the ICC has no legal authority in the US to force arrests or trials. American officials, including city mayors or police, are not required to comply with ICC arrest warrants. This means that even though the ICC has issued a warrant against Netanyahu, a US city mayor cannot legally enforce it within the United States. Another practical limitation is the federal authority over foreign affairs. The US federal law gives exclusive control over foreign policy to the federal government. This means any attempt by a city mayor to act on an ICC warrant could conflict with federal jurisdiction. President Trump has notoriously been against the ICC, as the ICC stance has been anti-Israel, and as we know, Israel has been a US ally, and they stand naturally against the ICC stance. In 2024, it imposed sanctions on the court in response to the warrant against Netanyahu, an action that would almost certainly extend to blocking any enforcement attempt by a US city. Another hurdle that Mamdani is likely to come across is the limited mayor power. The US Constitution gives the federal government authority over foreign affairs, a power repeatedly upheld by American courts. In practice, this means that even if New York City authorities were to attempt to detain Netanyahu, federal agencies could override the move. Mamdani himself acknowledged these constraints, saying, and I quote, "I'm going to operate within the bounds of the law. I'm not Donald Trump seeking to create my own legal system." And as per his statements, it suggests that a mayor's office cannot independently execute an arrest of a foreign head of state without federal involvement. Any attempt could be legally challenged and blocked. When we come to the discussion about Jewish people in New York City and their reaction to Mamdani running for mayor, Mamdani's election did not just raise questions about his foreign policy posture, it also stirred concerns among New York's large Jewish community and its business sector. Reportedly, about 1/3 of Jewish voters supported him, a figure that surprised older, more Israel-aligned Jewish voters. A senior communal leader in fact admitted a sense of unease amongst many in the community on the morning after Mamdani's win. Business observers are also cautious. They note that many Israeli-founded firms generate billions in the city, and any perceived unfriendly stance towards Israel could affect this investment, jobs, and the city's economic climate as well. Mamdani's promise to arrest Netanyahu comes at a moment when his broader relations with Jewish and Israeli business interests are under scrutiny. This means that the proposed arrest threat must be viewed not only through international law or diplomatic lens, but also within the local political economy of New York and the Jewish community's stake in the city's stability. The day Netanyahu arrives in New York City and Zohran Mamdani takes his oath is the 1st of January, based on his promise. Whether Mamdani will be able to do the unthinkable is the question that looms large.
New York mayor made big promises, and now the opportunity presents itself. Netanyahu invited to New York City, that too on Zohran's oath-taking day. Can Mamdani arrest Netanyahu?